My name is William Burns. I'm the director of the Central Intelligence Agency. I know this sounds crazy, and you're probably wondering, well, how the hell you're getting this call? And it's being recorded, hopefully, into someone who actually cares. But my cousin is very interestingly a 30-year insurance fraud victim from age 6 who manifested himself in the state of Arizona for college, which he was enrolled at to try to get a job where I work, which is super interesting because where I work is very interesting location. Anyway, he went to a school in Tempe, and he was kidnapped by Kentucky law enforcement, and we all watched in horror as they literally wouldn't allow him to have bail for something that he didn't even do. He was kidnapped for 600 days. He never got a trial. He was tortured the entire time he was in jail. He was lodged at the Fayette County Detention Center. The entire time he had an NSA badge number, and they were treating him like he was a derelict retard. He was literally confined to a cell for 600 days for something that he didn't even do while we all watched him try to save one of my coworkers' lives on national TV. And so we're super interested to know why the state of Kentucky has been literally committing identity theft on his social security number since age 6. Because that was when my literal brother-in-law moved there. He moved there in 1993, ahead of his wife and his son, which is the victim I'm talking about, to get a job at the oil company there in that town. But he didn't know is that there was a lot of people that were already living there that were committing massive amounts of insurance fraud. This went on from 1993 until about, 2015 or 2017, when it was very discovered by federal law enforcement. And we sent a undercover military operator, which would be Christine Michelle Chadwick from London, where the victim had all of his literal finance parked in an international exchange, which is why the CIA is involved. And she came from London to the United States and was investigating this and was literally found hanging by a ceiling fan in Louisville, Kentucky, in her home. And so another one of the victim's coworkers, who's an NSA agent for sure, was very with the person a few days before they were murdered, because it's illegal to kill yourself under the British law, and there was no way that this woman would do it. And so if it was actually a suicide, which it was not, we're very interested in prosecuting. Here's the situation where Flagstaff was involved. Brad, which is the victim, was literally living in Flagstaff while Phoenix, Arizona Metro, a.k.a. Detective Moreno, decided that it was a great idea to steal a car that belonged to my coworker at NORAD in Colorado with a license plate that I gave him on the windshield with a U.S. Army plate on the back, and sold it on a website, and we still have the evidence. He also stole a laptop from one very interesting unit from the United Nations, who was very interested in knowing what it was because it had proof of cat mutilation in the home state where Brad ran from in protective custody. And he's still on protective custody documents that we all signed at the front gate of the agency. So we'd really like to know is where Flagstaff stands on the fact that he was literally here hiding from them in 2021. He was literally sent in an extradition by a superior court judge in Arizona under Douglas Ducey to a 600-day torture cell because he tried to save my friend who died on live TV. Why, we don't know, but we know for a fact it was because Stephen Bashir, which is literally a website now, which is hilarious, StephenBashir.com, has been committing these crimes against countless people in Kentucky for over a decade, which means they're basically using Tim's Law as a ruse by state law enforcement in Kentucky to literally chop people for their estates. And this is very apparent because it's the only reason why it exists. This is why Matt Bevin ran away.
To send this message, press